Good morning. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, firstly, why? But get that done. Turn on the bell notifications. Big transfer updates for you today, starting with Manchester United. An improved offer for Branthwaite, 45 million plus 5 million on add-ons, has been made. The new Man United proposal, it does fall below Everton's valuation, and it not only has no chance of being accepted, it has been rejected. That has now been confirmed. David Ornstein, Fabrizio, and many others. Everton see Maguire, Fofana, and Guardiola as the pricing benchmark. Now, this bid has infuriated Everton fans and actually a lot of rivals of Manchester United as well. How dare they think they can land such a top talent for a small amount of money? But I am going to go against that grain, go against that theory. It's the right thing to do. Manchester United have paid above their valuation for players. Forget yours, forget mine, forget what everybody else thinks for a moment. The stories have come out on multiple occasions, the most famous being Anthony, that Manchester United have paid above their valuation of a player on so many occasions over the last decade. This is the exact right attitude to have. It doesn't matter if Everton think he's worth 70. If you don't think he's worth above 50, 55 million, you don't bid above 50 to 55 million. You move on to other targets. I still think this deal can get done. I do. I still think there's room to negotiate. I still believe Man United think his valuation is slightly higher than their bidding. But of course, why would you not attempt to get the deal for a cheaper amount? In terms of the player, we know he wants to join Manchester United. We know he has agreed personal terms, or personal terms are not going to be a problem. Whichever colloquial phrase you want to use that makes you feel better. But that for me is just personal terms agreed. I think it's a space to watch. At the same time, it has been reported that Man United are close to agreeing a £43 million fee with Bayern Munich for Ligt. And what's really important to stress, but before we do that, remember to download OneFootball. All these stories are available. It's how I keep up to date with all of this. So hard sort of trading through the internet, one website, one newspaper, find this person's Twitter. OneFootball aggregates all that news for you into one simple place. You just go to the Man United page, the Arsenal page, the Chelsea page, and all your news from all around the world is sitting there ready and waiting for you to digest, intake, and express your opinions on. So scan the QR code. It's free, by the way. Doesn't cost you a singular penny. Scan it now and get it downloaded. But the Ligt deal is separate from the Branthwaite one. So this isn't a case of Branthwaite or Ligt. Man United are looking at both. They are both big possibilities. So let us not forget that. Let us not forget that. It's very, very important to understand it. Man United looking for at least 2 centre-backs this summer. The Todibo deal we know probably isn't going to happen. Ligt is probably going to be the first over the line. Branthwaite may rumble on a little bit longer, potentially. But as ever, I want thoughts and I want feelings. Another story surrounding Manchester United, Fabrizio has released this, that Marseille's official offer for Mason Greenwood is worth 25 million plus a big sell-on clause, which could be for around 40 to 50%. And we know that Mason Greenwood was at Manchester United over the last 24 hours. He wasn't training with the squad, but it was for a meeting to discuss his exit. He will be leaving Manchester United, barring an injury that stops that deal from going through. 20 to 30 million pounds are the quoted prices. Not as much as Manchester United want, but having a big sell-on clause. You know, a club like Marseille are going to keep him for a year or two. And if he does well, you're probably going to find... I think a lot of bigger clubs are already sniffing around him. I still think they feel that it's not going to go down very well from a PR perspective. But another couple of seasons, another couple of years of performing, and that's going to die down. Whether people like hearing that or not, that's the reality of the situation. Man United putting a big sell-on clause in there makes a lot of sense. But Greenwood should be off the book soon. The wages off the book soon as he moves on to pastures new. Now, when it comes to Arsenal, we know they're looking at the deal for Calori. That Ornstein has spoke about that deal today. And I will say this before we get onto the Nico Williams bit. When Ornstein starts talking about a transfer, I feel that it's all but done, or at the very least close to being completed. He kind of keeps his nose out of these situations until those moments, or at the very least, he doesn't go public with his knowledge or his understanding until that. So Calori looks like it's going to get done. Gunnar Blog, who by all accounts is very credible in the Arsenal space, has stated that if Arsenal are to sign a wide player, Nico Williams would be Mikel Arteta's preference. And this is something I think Arsenal should be all over. Martinelli is a top player. Martinelli is a great talent. But he had a bit of an off-season last year. And he could absolutely be back to his very best this campaign. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. But where Arsenal need to be sensible, where Arsenal need to act like a giant club, not a big club, not just a well-run club, but they must act like a giant club if they want to achieve and win the big prizes. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Nico Williams is hot property. Nico Williams has been one of the stars of this Euro. Nico Williams is a very well coveted, very interesting player that has had a lot of the world on the edge of their seats, monitoring his progress for a very long time now. There are some gooners that I've come across on socials that are not particularly sold on him, but I always feel the majority of the major signings by Mikel Arteta have been fairly successful. You could probably throw Vieira, is it Vieira? Fabio Vieira, yes, into the mix. Hasn't quite worked out for him as an example. When I say big money signings, I'm looking at people that have cost 35 to 40 million pound plus. The vast majority, I think, have had a real positive impact upon the Arsenal team and side. So I'm intrigued to see what happens, how things progress with Nico Williams. But it does appear that the deal is in and around the on to active phase. Maybe it isn't quite there yet. But I think once Arsenal get this Calafuri deal over the line, we could see them move on to the Nico Williams deal. And again, Gooners, give us your thoughts, give us your feelings in the comment section below. Now, staying in London, Chelsea, big news for you. It says Chelsea want Karim Adeyemi, and they are already in contact with the player and are aiming to persuade him to move to the Premier League. Negotiations between the clubs are planned. Now, this has come from sources in Germany. Christian Falk has put this out. And what's interesting, when I read this story yesterday, it was from a relatively small German outlet, and it was met with, this can't be true, nobody credible is saying it. 24 hours later, not only is Christian Falk saying, I think Patrick Berger says something similar. There are a number of other clubs looking at Adeyemi as well, including Arsenal, I think Juventus, and a few others. But Chelsea is serious about him. Now, Chelsea have signed a lot of young players that we haven't heard of. I said it yesterday, and I'll reiterate it again and again and again. This is a type of signing that can make Chelsea scary again. This is a type of signing that could elevate their game. Yes, there is a rawness to Adeyemi, but he has very good technique. He has some output and delivery. He has speed and athleticism for days. And listen, we all know where he plays. Maresca is in love with that type of player. Absolutely loves it. And he just, again, if I'm taking my Man United hat off for a moment here and I'm being as objective as possible, a player like Adeyemi, if this system at Chelsea clicks, if this system is embedded quickly, as many a Chelsea fan expect it to be, Adeyemi could be a potent and dangerous addition to this team. The extra string to the bow, and almost a little bit of a cheat code at times as well, especially on counter-attacks, especially against the abundance of teams now in the Premier League that play with a high line in a very progressive manner. So, look, if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be very excited about this potential deal. This one would excite me, along with Dewsbury Hall and along with Tosin. That could be a tremendous piece of business to bolster this Chelsea squad as Maresca's era at Stamford Bridge begins. But as always, look, I always say your opinions, your views matter so much more to us than my own and what the newspapers and people outside the Football Terrace community are saying. So leave us your comments below and subscribe. Make sure you've hit the like button before you leave as well. And of course, go and check out One Football by scanning that QR code or clicking the link below. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.